Hey, it's Hank Miller here, and again, with all of these videos, opportunity presents itself for me to do a little dog and pony here, so why not? It's a good one. This couple of minute video, I want to talk about value, and nothing, ridiculous as far as that goes. But when we talk about a house, what's the value of a house? And I just had a long conversation with a buyer of mine, and I said, I don't know, it depends. But the most important thing is, what's the value in use? What's the house worth to you? Because that's the key. All right, so when I say value, I'm an appraiser, I'm a broker, right? So I look at things from many different aspects. We can talk about market value. Well, market value, the property is worth what somebody's willing to pay for it at a given time. All right, that's the standard definition, and that's fine. But even now, all right, now's January. Right now it's January of 2022. Not necessarily prime season. If I put a house on the market now, I'm going to get a snapshot in time right now of what the buyers think. If I wait 3 months from now or 4 months from now, start to get toward the end of the school year, the spring market, it's probably going to pick up. I might be able to get more for that property. So the value is not necessarily finite. It depends. 4 months from now, I also might have higher interest rates. The economy might be changing a little different, which will all impact value. So at best, that idea that it's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it, to a point, that's true. So no problem there, but just understand that there's nuances and market conditions at the time, conditions of the market, the buyers that are in the market at the time, the inventory that's on the market at the time, all impact what someone's willing to pay for a property. That market value, that's the overriding definition, right? It's worth what somebody's willing to pay. So now I put on my appraiser hat. God forbid the appraisal comes in low. How could it come in low? The market said it's worth 400 and you appraised it at 350. Yeah, I understand that. The market said it's that, but from an appraisal standpoint, I have to go back and follow underwriting standards. I have to use closed sales from 6 months ago, 8 months ago. So while the market today may be reflecting 400, what I'm required to use by underwriting standards, I can support 350. I'm not saying the property's only worth 350. I'm saying by appraisal standards and the guidelines I have to follow, it's worth 350 because that's what I could support. So again, appraised value, market value, different things. There's another wrinkle. The other wrinkle is, what's the property worth to the buyer, to you, right? So if you're looking for a particular school district, you're going to pay more to get a property in that school district because that's where you want to be. Right now, we're having just a ton of people looking for homes with finished basements for auxiliary units, for in-law suites is what we used to call them, teen suites, because they might be bringing parents in. So there's value to the buyer in that. There's value to somebody who's physically impaired to have a one-level house. If you can park a car, get out of the car, get to your kitchen and the main living areas without stepping up, or one step maybe, there's value in that. So you're, as that buyer, going to pay more than somebody who's just in the market looking for a house. So that's value in use. And the same thing is when people ask me, should I add this or that to the house? The first thing you should do is add the things that you value, that are important to you. Because to try to anticipate what adding a pool or a covered deck is going to add in market value, that's crazy. Add something because you're going to get enjoyment out of it, because it benefits you and increases the utility of the home for you while you're living there. Don't be stupid now. Don't be spending, $300,000 on nonsense that you're not going to get anything back. Within reason, of course. Value is comprised of a lot of different things. Value is overall feel. How does the house hit somebody when they come in? Is it an appealing house? And to that end, we get calls all the time, and people that when we're getting ready to do a listing, what can I do to make the house pop or to improve appeal and value? My sage advice on that is clean it up, make it presentable, but don't try to anticipate what the market wants or what that buyer is going to want. Personally, I'm not a big fan of tearing a kitchen apart and putting something in. I'm not a big fan of redoing a bathroom just to sell a house. If you're going to redo the bathroom and you're going to live there for 2 years, all right, go crazy. Same thing with the kitchen. Paint it, clean it, make sure it presents well, empty it out to make it look larger. But I think it's a bad idea to try to anticipate what a buyer would want to do. The last thing I want any one of my sellers doing is dropping money and aggravation and time only to have a buyer come in, pull a dumpster in and undo everything that they just spent, 30, 40 G's on and all kinds of agita managing a deal. Freshen the pine straw, clean up the landscaping. If it needs paint, now that's a judgment call. You do that kind of stuff. Make it move-in ready as far as the buyer not having to do anything immediately, but any kind of customization, in my mind, in my opinion, leave that for the next guy. So this idea that there's one number that a house is worth X, not so much. Peel the onion back a little bit and you'll understand that, and you can see how that all matters and all comes into play. So the idea that you're just going to throw a number on a house, it's kind of misleading. And I try to tell people that when I do appraisal work, and they always ask me, well, what's it worth? Here's what it's worth based on the data, based on the data that I would use as an appraiser. But look, you've got a 3-car garage, you're on a golf course, you have 30,000 mile views from up here. You've got a property on a lake with a nice, quiet, deep water cove and a double deck dock. That's worth money, right? That's functionally that's a fantastic benefit. You've got a brand new finished basement that's an in-law suite. What's it worth? Find that buyer that's looking for that particular thing, and it's worth a hell of a lot more to them than it is to the general public. All right, so let's wrap this up because I'm getting exhausted listening to myself. So fundamental things add value. Condition of the home, location of the home. If you're in a good spot, people are going to come to it. General appeal of the area, right? What does the area look like? Is it well maintained? Is it convenient? Yada, yada. Those things are all in the larger pool. When we get down to the narrow, specific parts of the house, what does your home have that buyer or somebody else is going to hit on? Was the kitchen just updated? Did you just put that $150,000 pool in there? Is there a smoking hot in-law apartment downstairs for somebody's parents? Is it one level entry? Is it on a golf course? Is walkability great? Whatever the case may be. Those are the things that are going to be above and beyond that will add appeal to that buyer. But remember, the house is worth what it's worth when it's offered for sale, but that's going to vary on who the buyers are at the time of year, economic conditions. There's 1,000 variables that come into that. Focus on the base, right? I'm in a good area. I've got a great house. It's a large, beautiful house. It's valuable. Don't get hung up on it's worth 600 today, 625 tomorrow. It's not the stock market where you're watching it go all day. Different values, appraised value, sale price, market value, yada, yada. The most important is value and use. What's the house worth to you while you're living there? That's the whole point of this, right? You're spending all this money. You got to come home. You got to pull into a driveway. I tell my buyers all the time, don't ever buy something that you're going to pull into the driveway and think, Christ, I shouldn't have bought this house. It's a piece of garbage or whatever the case may be. I hate it. Don't ever do that. Especially now, you can win by losing, right? Don't let emotion get you and buy something that you don't like. Value and use is the number one thing. All right, any questions? I'm available anytime to yap about this stuff. Hank Miller Team, 678-428-8276. Website, hankmillerteam.com, and there'll be a trailer right after this with everything. Plus, down in the comments, there'll be links all over the place. Let me know how we could help.